What am I going to do with these questions? We can't model them.
Ask a question and I shall appear.
Oh, I don't think I'll ever get used to this.
You had a question?
Oh, yes, I did. But it's really a question about questions.
Questions.
That's the point. The students' topics are so broad. How do I help them generate a good question?
Nah. You first want to explain to the students that it is natural to ask questions. They ask them all the time. Listen to Dr. Amy Momolo explaining to her students how to find a question.
The questions, well, we're calling them mathematical. They're really very natural questions that people ask about the world that you probably ask yourselves, but maybe don't think about them as a math question. And so that's part of the entry into these topics is identifying what in these broad issues is a problem that we could understand better from exploring the data that exists, or maybe questioning the data that exists, trying to capture the trends in a model, and then using that model to make conjectures or predictions about what could happen in the future, what could change, what needs to occur in order for a change to happen.
Okay, I get it. It's not just about the question. It's about directing the students to the data and prompting them to think about modeling as they ask their questions.
That's right. The students will have to do research as they ask their questions. We want them to connect their natural questions to mathematics. So we want to encourage them to think about the mathematics right away. But the students will still need help refining their questions. Here is a student named Forum in one of our classes.
I think definitely I should be more specific in what I choose to focus on and try to find as much research in that. But I don't know, everything seems so interesting to me. So it's also hard to like be like, oh, what should I care about more than the other thing, you know? So
Yes. So, what can I do to help students refine their questions?
Framing and scaffolding are helpful.
Framing? Scaffolding?
Yes, help the question for students using interrogative words. How, when, and etc. And scaffold their learning. Scaffolding learning means to add supports to the learning, like a scaffold does to a building. It is difficult for students to connect their questions to mathematics, their questions to data, their data to questions, their math. Where was I? Oh, yeah! We want to help students to get where we want them to go, but it is tricky. There is a gray area between telling the students and scaffolding for the students. Here's Dr. Robin Rutenberg Rosen explaining how she helps students frame questions.
We'll frame it by saying, I see you're interested in this, 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 and this. And this is the question you asked. Would this be a question that it encapsulates your intention while attaching it to the data? And so they'll still have input, but it will be extremely directed from us. In the end, we won't just give them the question. We'll ask if this encapsulates what their intentions were to begin with. And then they can start to revise and refine.
See what Dr. Miroslav Lovrik did? He talked to the student through the question by using the student's ideas as a base and guided the student to where they needed to be.
The goal of every step is to get the ball rolling a bit further. You can see that some questions are more specific than others, and some questions will need further negotiation and refinement. But that's all part of the modeling process. So the idea here is for you to see what you're interested in and to identify your questions. You can get a sense of what we thought might be interesting and what we thought could be modeled. And of course, the answers are going to be data-driven.
Make sure students know that being too specific with their questions might mean they won't find any data.
That makes sense.
The important thing is for all of us to be flexible, because things change and move. Sometimes you ask one question, but the data answers another, and that is what you want to model.